Now, South African Breweries is considering mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations for all employees this year. The firm will then join several other larger firms which have instituted mandatory vaccines. For more on this, I'm joined by Lucia Swartz, the Vice President People at SAB. Lucia, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405. Now, let us just talk around the issue of this mandatory vaccines that the SAB is looking into.
Thank you. Firstly, good afternoon, Teko, and thank you very much for having me this afternoon.
So, Lucia, just give us details then of this mandatory vaccine that the SABC is looking into for all its employees this year.
Okay. Teko, firstly to say we're not implementing mandatory vaccinations at this stage. What we have communicated to our employees is our intention to explore mandatory vaccinations during 2022. And so during this month of January, we will commence consultation and engagements with employees as well as our employee representatives in order to understand how we could go about implementing mandatory vaccinations.
So you're still looking at it at SAB, of course. You're still looking at, how this could possibly be implemented. Have the discussions been had with employees around this?
No, not at this stage. So all we've done at this point is communicate our intention.
And so with this intention, Lucia, what are you then hoping for? We do know that, of course, the Omicron variant does spread much faster. What is SAB then hoping for in the assistance to ensure that people get vaccinated in the country?
Yeah. So the reason why we're doing it is because ever since the pandemic, we've always had an approach regarding the safety of our employees. So it's been a people first approach. And so we want to continue to safeguard the health and well-being of our employees and to minimize the risk of being infected with the virus in the workplace. So that's the first reason why. The second one is we really want to support government and the Department of Health in their endeavors to accelerate vaccination. And I guess the third reason why we're looking at this is that because we really believe that by being vaccinated and being able to combat the spread of infections, we can reboot the economy, and we want to be part of restarting the economy and getting it back on track.
So, Lucia, we do know, of course, that the SAB, really the alcohol industry, has had quite an impact. It has been negatively impacted by this COVID-19 pandemic, and this could also be one of the reasons for the economy to open up a bit more, isn't it? Especially for that alcohol industry. Absolutely.
We believe that vaccination is key to protecting the 1 million lives and livelihoods supported by the alcohol industry.
And so in the conversations that you've had together, you said that you have not necessarily spoken to employees at this stage, but in the conversations that you've had as management, how would you then speak to the employees? What is the way forward and the communication that will be given to employees?
Yeah, Chika, I don't think our employees are going to be surprised by this approach. We have always communicated a pro-vaccination approach, and I think that this is just the next step in ensuring that we can get back to, a new normal. So I'm not expecting anyone to be taken by complete surprise. However, we do know that there are employees with varied opinions about vaccinations. And so what we are hoping to do is to be able to convince the majority of our employees that vaccinations are safe, that firstly, this has been an unprecedented health tragedy and has caused significant excess deaths in South Africa. Vaccinations are effective and they've proven to be safe and the best defense against COVID-19. It's also proven to have reduced severe illness and hospital admissions. And then vaccinations are freely available. And so the issue is no longer one of access, but really one of vaccination hesitancy. And also as an employee, we believe that we have a legal obligation to create a safe working environment for all employees, both vaccinated and those who are unvaccinated at this point.
Lucia Swartz there from SAB, the Vice President People, just talking to us around the SAB's decision to make COVID-19 vaccines mandatory. Thank you so much for your time, Lucia.